Tonight we have breaking news for you coming out of Sweden and the Mora factory as they release their much anticipated Ashwood outdoor collection of knives. And now we take you live to our embedded news reporter live on the ground. Jacob, what has been the response from the knife community towards these Ashwood handled knives from Mora? Well, thank you, Derek. When Mora first released images of their Ashwood series, there was an immediate response of joy and jubilation and excitement from the outdoor community, seeing a profile and style of Mora knives that has never been released in modern history. But that joy was quickly swamped by weeping and gnashing of teeth when we all saw the price point that Mora was going to be releasing this collection at. And actually, in fact, right now I have a knife lover walking up to me. Let me see if I can get his attention. Excuse me, sir. Sir, could I take a moment of your time? What is your thoughts on the Ashwood outdoor collection that Mora has released?
You want to know what I think about these Ashwood knives? Man, at first I was super excited and they looked very different than any of the other Moras I'm used to. But then I saw the price tag on a few of the models and I was like, I could buy 2 Mora GERBERs with better steel than one of those blades. I'll just stick with what I got. So though they look cool, man, that price, it's a doozy. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get over that.
Well, there you have it, Derek. Back to you in the studio. Thank you, Jacob. Now we're going to go speak to a YouTube knife reviewer, Aaron from Gideon's Tactical, in hopes that he can unpack for us some more details about this Ashwood series of knives and what seems to be fueling some of the controversy. Thanks for joining us today, Aaron. Would you be willing to unpack some of this for us?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on today. Like many, I was very excited to see the images originally drop of this Ashwood series of knives. With the two-tone blade as well as bolted on handle scales on that exposed full Tang, it was exciting to see that. It's like, wow, never seen anything like this really coming out of the Mora factory. And when it was just the images, I started to think to myself, you know, got to give Mora some grace. They've been cranking out amazing blades for decades now at insane prices. I mean, I paid $9.99 for this basic 5.46. And with the different sizes and leather sheaths, I thought to myself, you know, probably about, like, let's say 80 for the smallest one and maybe like 140 max for the largest one, as long as they keep just using either the carbon steel they've always used or one of the Sandviks that they've always used, then that would be a pretty good price point that I think a lot in the market would be willing to pay for this new style of Mora. But when the 3.5-inch fin model dropped and we saw the Euro price of $169 and the 4-inch wit being $214 and the 4.25-inch lock being $239, I was like,
are you serious?
And then I calmed down and I said, well, maybe they're using something crazy like MagnaCut or L-Max or M390 and they're really swinging for the fences. And then I scrolled down and saw recycled Swedish stainless steel. And the first image that popped in my head was used soup cans getting thrown into a blender, thrown over a fire, and then cooked into a knife. That's what originally popped into my head when I heard that term. I did some more research and I've discovered that it's the same Sandvik 12C27 steel that Mora has been using for decades. So in theory, there's nothing wrong with that. I wish that they had just labeled it that instead of having to explain yourself on what this is in some sort of what feels like environmentalist influenced mumbo jumbo. It definitely didn't help the cause in me desiring the tool any more than I would have. Now at launch, there are 4 models in this collection, one being a camp cleaver design for the camp kitchen, and then the other 3 being woodscraft knives, starting with the smallest at about 3.4 inches blade length and sub 1/8 of an inch thick, then 4 inches of blade length, still being sub 1/8 of an inch thick, and then the largest being about 4.25 inches of blade length and being 1/8 of an inch thick. All of them are going to come with right-handed leather sheaths, and to my understanding, all will have 90-degree spines to throw sparks off of your fire steel. So on paper, they do look really good, but when you start looking at that price point, my personal opinion is that they're about 100 euros overpriced. If the smallest one was around 70 to 80, the largest one being like 130, 140, then that would make a lot more sense. And I think a lot of people would actually probably pay that price point just to get all of the extra features and just kind of cool uniqueness that is in this Ashwood series. But that's just my personal viewpoint when I'm looking at what else is on the market. And I do want to give us some perspective. As an example, here's a Heli Gapi, I believe is how you say it. Guapi, I'm sure I'm jacking that up. Norwegian made with the exact same steel that's going to be on those Moras, 12C27. Amazing wood handle, nice long Scandi blade, mirror polish, excellent leather sheath. This guy's like 130 on average for this blade right here, which is around the same size range as the full-size Mora, that is going to be 100 euros and at least $100 currently. That's the MSRP. And when you can get a full Tang Mora GERBER, either in the 1095 version that they use, it's basically 1095 carbon, or in 14C 28N Sandvik steel, which is going to be better than what the steel that they're currently using from all of our understanding of what they're producing these Ashwood knives with, I can get either model for well under $100 if I hunt around online. It just makes it difficult to see the value there in this Ashwood series of knives. Just to show us here, here's an excellent wood handle scale, full Tang, 5/32 of an inch thick, Scandi ground with 14C27N Spanish-made ember with leather sheath, dangler, and a fire steel. This is like 110, 115 bucks all day. And those Ashwood knives remind me a lot of the Essees that are out there, like this SE4 HM or the RB3 with micarta handle scales, which I would prefer over wood. Full Tang, I mean, this profile is very similar. American made, 1095 with Kydex or leather for easily like $115 to $125 depending on where you pick them up. And since it is kind of a dog pile, I might as well show you something that actually is close to that like $240, $250 price point. For about $250, you can get a Bradford knives in CPM 3V steel, full Tang, Kydex, or leather options for like $250. So, I mean, those are the materials that are out there that you can easily pick up for right around that price that Mora is expecting currently us to pay. So I don't know if prices will change, Derek. I don't know if they will modify some of the pricings as time goes on, or possibly be amazing just to keep that price point, but then add some crazy good steel like MagnaCut or L-Max or something else that they are familiar with using or that they could get their hands on. And I will be getting my hands on one of these models soon to just see how it performs and really see side by side how it will compete with many of the other knives that I have highlighted today for us. Thanks for joining us today and giving us some of that insight and your opinion on this entire situation. And where can people find you if they are not yet following you on YouTube? Yeah, you guys can totally subscribe with that icon popping up, and I invite you to check out the other video. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there. Absolutely, and thanks for joining us. Coming up next, KELTY releases American-made crossbar locks. Better late to the party than never, but they too want to charge an arm and a leg.